Bonjour. Let's check the post. Okay, so that works. Right. Let's wait for everyone to show. I'll open up the stream on here so I can monitor it. And remember, this is the MyFitnessPal Masterclass. Open that. Where are we? There we are. Keep that muted, and we can see. Right, ladies and gents, we'll give it a couple of minutes for people to show up, but then I'm just going to get cracking. So, prepare. Why do I feel like it's trying to get a green screen? Let's sort that out. No, it's not. That's when it is, that's when it's not. Good. Good morning again, Caron. That, close that, and close that. Job's a good one. I will give it another minute and a half, and then we'll just get flying through. But how is everyone? How's everyone feeling after this session this morning? Morning again, Samantha. In fact, let's even type this. Morning, Rich. I can hear that Ralph's already having fun with you. Let's do that. Let's change the colour of it to some form of blue. There we go. In fact, let's make it so that it's not going to be right across the screen. Oh, that's not what I meant to do. Morning, Sally. Morning, Peter. Do that. Bang it in the middle. Bob's your uncle. Fanny's your aunt. And before you say it, Mother, I know, Bob was my granddad. Indeed, but he's got his mackerel, so he's happy. Alright, so if anyone hears any squealing, Ralph's finished his mackerel and he's not happy. Right, do I need that? No. Right, I'm going to get cracking with it. Am I being silly and can't see the live? Let's do this. That Connor Flynn. Bang. Oh, look at that. Can go and get my fancy ring light soon. Ooh. Can go and get it today. Connor, hopefully you found that and you will be here shortly. Don't know what else to say. If anyone can't see it, the live video has ended. Is that true? There. No, we're good. We're good. I think it was playing up a little bit because it just told me that it had ended, but we're here. We're here. We're here. Right, let's get cracking, shall we? So, as I said, we're going to fly straight into this. And if anyone has any questions at any point, ask. Like, don't wait, just ask. So there we go. Here is my MyFitnessPal. Let's pull that away so that I can't see that. That's really annoying. Put it there. Don't need that bit. Okay, so MyFitnessPal, of course, it's the most accurate way of tracking your food. But it's also the most complex way if you don't know the tips and tricks on how to make it simplified. So what we're going to do today is keep this as simple as possible, but also keep it as accurate as possible to get you to where you want to be. So if you're trying to gain weight, lose weight, maintain weight, whatever, that's where you go over to my calorie calculator, work out what you should be consuming. If it's not working, cut that down a bit. If you're trying to lose weight, if it's not working, increase it a little bit. If you're trying to gain weight, and if you find that you're trying to maintain, but it's fluctuating, see how it is over time. So, the MyFitnessPal Masterclass. We can see this is mine. I haven't entered any food today. Why? Because I haven't eaten any food. Why? Because I ate a lot of food yesterday. I'm going to be doing this on iOS, on an iPhone. However, most of the same principles do apply on an Android. I think the key things that are different is you can't do fractions on Android, but that's fine because I don't do fractions anyway. I always do decimals, as long as you can understand fractions. Anyway, let's go through the very, very simple stuff first. So if I do this, go onto my diary, and you can see there it says add yesterday's breakfast, swipe right to add meal. That's something I'm going to get onto in a short while. I don't want to get straight into a little bit more complex stuff. We're going to keep this simple, and then we'll start to increase the complexities of it. So if I want to add a food, very, very simple. I've just thought there is nothing up here with a barcode on. However, well, there is, but I'm not sure that that's going to come up as food. It's not Lynx Africa. But that's fine. I will just talk you through it. You don't need me to search and scan. So if I want to add food, let's say that I want to put my usual breakfast in and I don't have the things to hand to scan. I'm just going to search for it. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to search for egg because I have a lot of eggs. However, don't just search for eggs. If I just search for egg, look how many different options you get. You got 135, you got 68, 78, 70, 54. So many different options. So what I would do, choose the shop that you shop at. I almost felt like I was saying it wrong, but I'm not. Choose the shop that you shop at. So if you want eggs, let's say you shop at Aldi. So I can see Aldi here. So I'm going to search for Aldi medium, because it's medium eggs, it's not large eggs. Aldi medium egg. There we go. Bang. Got it.
I thought this might help. I brought you some things.
She is a good egg. Speaking of eggs, that's useful. So I'll do that in a minute. A few different things. Probably don't need that many, but that's fine. Oh, she's useful. Let's do this so that we can see me a little bit better. There we go. So we need to be searching for a shop brand in order to make this more accurate. So again, we could see there was 70s, there was 50s, there was 100s. Now I've got my actual egg without having scanned it. If you can scan it, even easier. So let's say I've had 3 eggs. Tick. It updates the amounts. That's a really bad egg. So in fact, if you look at that, you can see it says up here, no protein, no carbs. This is not a good entry to put in. Make sure, so 1 medium whole egg, there we go. So we've got 6.4 grams of protein, 0.4 grams. That's a better one to put in. So if I do 3, tick, tick, jobs are good. Please let me know if this cuts off, because for some strange reason, when I'm trying to monitor it, it keeps on saying that it has cut off. I'm hoping that it's not. But normally the software tells me if it cuts off. I think it's just my laptop being a bit funny, to be honest with you. But there you can see I've got 3 whole eggs, and I've searched for a shop brand, and that's going to increase the accuracy of the eggs that I'm putting in. Eggs is just an example. Now Rachel's just brought some, as we can see there, low fat soft cheese. Now if I was to have, I don't know, something strange that's got eggs and cheese, I'm going to go add food. I can press scan barcode, and then I'm just going to find the barcode, and you can see there it says serving size 100 grams. Now I'm not going to have, it keeps stuttering but nothing major. Okay, bit frustrating, but we'll in fact what I might do, might even just do this. That'll make sure that it stays on. Do this. Right, so you might have lost me for a little bit there, but I should come back. I've just changed to my phone hotspot because it's something that's here. I know it's definitely going to work. So again, when it comes to the soft cheese, I'm obviously not having 100 grams. 100, the whole thing, if we do this, where does it say how heavy it is? There. So if I look on the side, it's 200 grams. So that serving size that it says there is only half of the thing. What I'm actually going to do to make my life easier, oh, that's an interesting entry. It's not 800 grams, but if you know that you've had a quarter of the 200 grams, you're going to do this. You're going to go to 1 gram, and simple maths tells you that a quarter of 200 grams is 50. I might have disappeared, but it's because I've fixed it. Don't worry about it. I'll be fine now. Tick. Now I've got a quarter of that in. I don't need to be too anal about it. I haven't weighed it. I know that if I open this up, there's half gone. So there's 100 grams gone. There's 100 grams left. If I have half of that, it's 50 grams. I will not disappear again, promise. And it will upload after as well. So there, I haven't weighed it, I've just portioned it based on the amount that or the fraction of that food that I've had. Same thing with this. So I have a lot of Greek yogurt. If I scan the barcode, I know that this is a kilo, and if I've had a quarter of it, I've had 250 grams. If I'm not too accurate, that's not so much of an issue because I'm eating this whole thing anyway. And if I put in 4 bouts of 250 grams over the course of a week, I know that I've had a kilo. It doesn't matter if it's all on one day or if it's split over 4 days. So that's scanning barcodes, keeping things simple there. So always, if you're searching for a food, search for a shop brand. If you're scanning food, be wary of the portions that it comes up with. So again, if I, just as another example, I'm going to scan this yogurt, scan barcode, there. So that's come up with 100 grams. Again, that's not my portion, so I can't just go, yeah, I've had 1 serving of that. We need to be a little bit more accurate. Now, if you have spoons of it, so this is where we can get onto using measures. If you have spoonfuls, typically if you have 2 spoonfuls, you will have what your average spoonful is. You will have a unique amount. That goes for, it can go for jams, it can go for butter, it can go for milk, it can go for cereals. You have your own unique serving size that you will use. What it's worth doing, and I don't have scales up here, but what it's worth doing is weighing that once, weighing the amount that you have, and then save it. Because what will happen now, so if I put in that I've had 73 grams of that soft cheese, right? So the next time I search for that soft cheese, it instantly comes up with 73 grams. Now, I'm not saying put in 73. If it was 73, I'd put in 75. Just round it. That's fine, Karen, no problem. So yeah, just round it so that it's... round it up just to make it a little bit easier. You don't have to be too anal about it. 2 grams, if you look at that, 118 calories. If I do that, it's become 121. It's 3 calories, nothing major. And you're always better off erring on the side of caution than you are underselling something. So soft cheese, lighter, again, it comes up with what I've done. So if you weigh it once and that's your average serving, you will know that's my serving, and when you search for it again, that'll come up. Same with milk. When you pour milk, you'll always use the same amount of milk, typically, unless you have a smaller portion for whatever reason. Cereals, same thing. Anything else that you use that potentially you think, weighing it again, you probably don't have to. Things that it's worth weighing is potatoes. Potatoes tend to, obviously you can't just have a medium potato. You've got a medium potato, a large potato, small potato, yes, but you've also got in between potatoes, so it's probably worth weighing those. But weighing the odd thing isn't hard work, and if you're unsure, err on the side of caution again. So maybe you've had a kilo bag of potatoes and you've used roughly a quarter of it, 250 grams. Look at it that way. Again, we want to keep this as simple as possible. Now, when it comes to deleting food on iPhone, what you can do is just swipe across. I think if you're on Android, you hold your finger down on it and it comes up with delete. If I swipe across there, it disappears. If I want to delete a lot of food straight away, I can press edit, or on Android I press the pencil, select all, or select the meal. I can do it by meal, or I can do it by ingredient, or I can actually drag that food around as well to change which meal it's in. Probably doesn't matter, to be honest with you, when it comes to that, but then all I do is press delete at the top and everything that I've selected has disappeared. If anything is unbranded and you scan it, or you have no way of trying to find out, if it's got a food label on it but you're scanning it and it's just not coming up, use that food label and enter it. So what you can actually do is go to the plus at the top right. I can then go create a food, and maybe I've got, I don't know, like it says there, Campbell's chicken soup, serving size, I don't know, 100, and you have to put like what the serving is, so maybe it's 100 grams, and per container maybe there's 5, maybe it's 500 grams, okay? You can enter that yourself most of the time, and I think I've done it for maybe 2 foods in the whole time that I've used it, and I've used this for years and years and years, and it's normally with new foods. Because this is a publicly uploaded database, they don't keep on top of it, other people get on top of it and they approve things. But you can create food in this situation that you might need to. So when it comes to weighing food and using measures, by the way, a little trick. One of these bad boys will always help you out. If you have a cup that you use as your measuring cup, even if it's not an actual like American cup size, doesn't matter, because you can, let's say that I fill this up with rice and I weigh what that rice is. So obviously I would put this on the scales, set it to 0, scoop out a full cup of rice, put it back on the scales, and it might come up with like 130 grams. I know that if I have half of it, it's 65. If I have a third of it, it's whatever a third of that is, like 43 grams. So you can make that easy by, once you know how much is in that specific cup, next time you do it, you'll be able to make it easier. No, I don't need the scales, Rachel, okay. It's easy enough to just explain. But if you weigh it and it's 130 grams, you know what half of that is. You know what 2/3 of it might be. You know what a third might be. You know what a full cup is. You know what a cup and a half might be. That way you don't have to get the scales out again. Next time you use the cup, you know roughly that is that, and I can do 1.5, and I know it's 1.5 times what that cupful was. So then I don't need the scales again. I might do that with pasta, I might do it with rice, I might do it with couscous. Once I know what 1 cup is, I know how to manipulate that in the future. Hopefully that makes sense. There's not many things that you'll need to do that with. You might do it with milk, you might do it with other things, but that's a little bit of common sense, a little bit of logic, just to save you from going, oh, I've got to weigh food again. I rarely weigh food. The only thing I probably do weigh is potatoes. I might occasionally weigh rice, but not very often. Not very often at all. Quite often we just use packet rice. It just keeps life simple. If we have half a packet, well, if I have 2/3 of a pack and Rachel has a third of a pack, I know that I've had 2/3 of a pack of Uncle Ben's, or something like that. But just on that topic, again, just another example. When I come onto it, it typically comes up with 125. Guess what? 125 is not the full container. That is. So if I put in 2/3 of 125, I've only had a third of the whole bag, apparently. So actually, 0.66 gives me 2/3. Done. I put that in, it's done, it's there. So packet things are always easier, but of course you're paying a little bit more for them. But they do make things a little more convenient. Now, a lot of people get a little bit confused and a little bit concerned when it comes to eating out or get takeaways or anything that they've not prepared and they don't have barcodes for. They get a bit concerned. Now, let's just say, for example, we've got fish and chips. What am I going to do for fish and chips? I'm going to search for fish and chips UK. And if you've had large, search large. Okay? Large fish and chips, I'm just going to tell you now, it's much larger than any of these are coming up out there. Be honest with it. The reality is it's probably that one. Ignore the fact that there's no protein, no fats, no carbs, because that's a different meal. It's not one that you're using to actively improve your health or anything like that. I would just put that in and go for the large one. If I had a standard size, I would do that. Chippy UK, 1 portion, it's not 600. Again, I would go for that one. It's 822. A little bit of a higher calorie option choice. Don't always have to go for the top one. It could be this. That's just one example. Now let's say we go for an Indian. So if we get a takeaway korma. Takeaway chicken. Lorna? Who's Lorna? Takeaway chicken korma. If I do that, yes, I would probably go with that one then. So 1 tray of the chicken korma. And then of course we need takeaway basmati rice tray. Ignore that. I would probably just go for that. The Asda tray. That's probably a smaller tray, by the way. But again, I would do that. And then I would add any sides. So any poppadoms, I'd probably search for like Sharwoods, any naan breads, anything like that. I would just search for things. So don't overcomplicate things. Don't go, don't know what I add. Put in an example and over exaggerate if you're really not sure, because that's always going to err on the side of caution. You can be safe. Hopefully that makes sense. The cup method is very useful. So the cup method works with spoons as well. If you use spoonfuls of things, eventually you'll learn to eyeball it. So you might do spoonfuls of oil to start with, 1 tablespoon of olive oil, just to make people realise. A lot of people will know this because I've gone over it before, but a lot of people are new to this. 1 spoonful of olive oil, 135 calories. Be very careful with oil. You need it in your diet, you need oils in your diet, but be very careful with the amounts that you use. But eventually you'll learn how to pour 1 tablespoon without going crazy, and you'll average it. And if you're ever unsure, again, overdo it, over exaggerate. So that's the serving method to save effort. Now, if you're, yes, I had a lot last night. However, I'm going to explain all that and how to make that work later on. So, saving meals. If you have meals you have regular, so maybe you got your favourite recipes out of a recipe book and you want to save that. Did I cook on Monday? I think I potentially did. Let's go to Saturday, because I always do a curry on a Saturday. So let's go to Saturday. Let's say, for example, I want to save this curry. And I want to save it as a meal because it's a recipe that I do regularly. Now, this is actually 2/3 of the portion that we did. Because I have 2/3 and Rachel has a third. But I'm just going to do this as an example. So if I select the things that went in to the actual curry, not to the side. So these things are sides. I don't add spices. I don't add anything that's like 2 or 3 calories. It's useless to do. Add your vegetables, of course, but don't add spices. Bell pepper. I tell you what, I should have had oil on that. I missed the oil. And there's times where you're going to do that. Olive oil, one tablespoon, bang. Right, so let's do that. So let's say that I save this meal. So I had chicken breast, onion, stock pot, olive oil, Balti paste, bell pepper, and I can now go, if you can see at the bottom right, it says save meal. So if I save that meal, beans, chicken, korma, save. That's now saved into my database. So if I was to have that again tonight, which, I mean, to be honest with you, I might do. I always do a curry on a Saturday night, so it might be that same thing. So if I go to there, meals, that is stored in there. Now, if this was a whole recipe, I guarantee it'd be more like 1,500 calories, something like that. But again, we're going off examples. So if I was to do this and say that I only had 2/3 of it and Rachel had a third of it, 0.66 tick, and it corrects everything that's in there to become 2/3 of that meal. So in future, I can just do that, 2/3 of it saved. And I don't have to put all the ingredients in again because it's something that I have regular. I've saved myself the time by putting it all in initially, and then I've saved it and I can just import it in the future. Much, much easier. I've not had to search, I've not had to scan, I've not had to do anything. Edit, tap, delete. Got rid. One useful thing on that though, I'm going to show you how to add friends and what you can do with that. So first, you press the more button, or if you're on Android at the top left, you'll see your little burger menu that will come up to this, or it'll come up to something like this. You go down to friends, press the plus at the top right, email or MyFitnessPal username, type in whatever it might be, hello blah 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 at blah 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 dot blah blah. Your full name, and now I don't know why I asked this because I'm pretty sure it doesn't even come up. It might come up on an email actually if people add you, but it never comes up in the app. You might get a notification though. So you would put in your name. So I'm just going to put Dean. It won't let you send it unless you put in a name, but you don't need to put in a message. You would then press the tick. It would send off a notification to that person to say that you've added them. They would then get a request up here. So where it says requests, done. Then what I can do, so I'm going to go to Rach. I can then do this. Now, however, first, actually, let's do this. If we go to settings, diary settings, diary sharing, you can then share your diary with someone else. So this is how I would keep tabs on clients. This is how I would keep tabs on anything. It's how I can copy food from Rach's diary and how Rach can copy food from my diary. So I put that to friends only. It really doesn't matter. You can do public, you can do it private, you can do it locked with a key if you really want to. I just do it as friends only because it sounds nice. It's friends. It's friends. Off there. Now if I go to more, friends, and I go over to Rach's food diary, what I can do if Rach has cooked a meal, so let's say that Rach made that curry, I could go over to this, press the 3 dots at the bottom right, and I could save that meal myself. So I could copy that meal and import that into my database. So if someone else cooks, you can save that meal for yourself. So let's say that your spouse cooks or your mum cooks or something like that, and they use MyFitnessPal. It's brilliant because you can just copy it out of their database. What you can also do is, if you don't want to save it but you just want to copy it, you can do copy to date, and it will let you just copy that meal across into your diary, which for some reason it didn't want to do that. Copy. that was just me. You're back. I am back. No problem. So you would choose the meal that you want to put it into, you would choose the date that you want to put it into, and it allows you to just copy that straight across. However, you've then got to go through each individual ingredient and change it. So what I actually do, just as an example, if Rach cooks, so let's say Friday night, did she cook? Thursday night. Now, let's see when there was a recipe. There. So there's a meal that Rach has made. I could do this, save as meal, and I actually do this. If it's something that she doesn't make regular, I just do this. It really doesn't matter what it's called. IJD. Save that, and then I can copy that across. So Rach would typically put all of the ingredients into her diary. So the full recipe. Then I can copy my portion across. So now that I've got that, I can go to today. And I can go to add food, meals, IJD, and I can say, right, okay, the full recipe's there, and I add 2/3. Done. 0.66, tick. If there's anything that I need to adjust, I can then adjust it. So maybe there was sides, and maybe I add more sides, maybe there was less sides, maybe, I don't know. But I can actually then go into it and change things. But it makes all the fractions for you based on the fact that you had a percentage of the total meal. So that's why you can see weird things like 21.8 grams of leek. It's whatever Rach has put in, times that by 0.66 to get 2/3, or by a half, or by a third, or by a quarter, 3/4, whatever it might be. Again, I can then delete that and get rid of it because I haven't had that today. But that makes life easier. Whereas if I was to add a recipe, so you can create recipes, which sounds like it would be the better thing to do, but it's not. So if I do one pancake, I can't see what ingredients are in there. I tick it, and I can't manipulate any ingredients in there. So that pancake has to be that pancake as is. I can't change any of it. So recipes, it sounds like it's a better choice based on the name because you're saving a recipe, but actually saving a meal is much more effective because you can manipulate the bits. So maybe you have a curry, but this time you didn't have the onions, or this time you didn't use any oil, or this time you used beef instead of chicken, but you use the same recipe. You would then go into it and go, right, delete the chicken, I'm going to put beef in instead. So you can manipulate it. Whereas recipes you can't. Next thing we've got here. So if I'm losing anyone, I'm aware I'm just flying through this because I want to get as much information onto this as I possibly can. And we're about halfway through time. So please do stop me or ask any questions. As I said, I'm not necessarily going to get through everything on MyFitnessPal because it can be a complete minefield, but I'm giving you all the basics, and if you do the basics well, you will succeed with it, I promise. And that's what happens with anything in life, to be honest with you. Now, going back to what I said before about the smart copy, where it says there, add yesterday's breakfast, 456 calories, swipe right to add meal. I don't think this is available on Android, so if you're on Android, tough. It might be. I haven't found it on Android. I do have an Android emulator, but I don't use it very often because I just like iPhone. I like iPhone. So, what smart copy is, if I press the 3 dots at the bottom of a meal, so I'm going to meal 2, it says there, turn on smart copy. If I press that, it says add yesterday's meal, 312 calories. So instantly I've swiped across and it's got exactly the same meal in exactly the same quantities, and all I've had to do is swipe over. Simple. However, again, I'm not eating that today. I only use that for breakfast, and I guarantee the majority of you, at least through the week, probably have the same breakfast, probably have the same meal at breakfast, or there'll be a select number of them. But if you typically have the same, and I do, me, at the moment, 3 eggs, 1 slice of bread. That's it, with a bit of ketchup. However, I had a little bit more yesterday. So if I swipe across, that's instantly added 1 slice of bread, 3 eggs, and half a tin of beans. So I had half a tin of beans and cut 1 egg off. But it swiped across, by swiping across, I've added that same meal, but it'll only let you do that on the day that you're on. So I can't go to tomorrow and swipe right, I can only do that on today, which is probably something they could do to fix. But if I wanted to copy that across tomorrow, I can press that, copy, and I can copy that to the same meal tomorrow anyway, or I can copy it to the same meal on Tuesday, and again, it just saves a little bit of time. And this works if you want to plan in advance, which is a good idea. I don't like to do it personally, but it is a good idea for a lot of people because it helps them, it saves them time, they spend time doing it, and then they don't have to worry about it, unless they obviously go off the plan that they made. So, that is how you use smart copy. It saves so much time. So every morning I know, done, right, that's the same breakfast, I'm out. Or if there's any slight manipulations, right, maybe I didn't have that and I did have 4 eggs, as I said. Tick, tick, done. Right, done, no issues. Same slice of bread that I always use. And by the way, that's quite a low calorie bread. Whereas, so this is what I have, the Kingsmill 50/50. But a lot of slices of bread are around about 114 calories. So I've made the effort to find a lower calorie bread. Because to me, bread is bread. Like, I will lower calorie. However, I've got a fibrous one there. Reason we talk about fibre, I'm not going to get too into nutrients and nutrition at this point, but fibre will fill you up. So I've gone for a higher fibre, lower calorie option when it comes to bread. Now, reflecting on your diary, this is the reason I really like MyFitnessPal. Hang on, little sip, keep me going. This is why I really like MyFitnessPal, and it's best to do this on a Sunday. So I'm going to swipe across to Sunday. Reason being, if I go to today, this finishes on a Saturday. I don't want it to finish on a Saturday, I want it to finish on a Sunday because I'm looking at this week. So if I go to a Sunday and do the same thing, I can see this page. Typically, you will see yourself on this. When you go onto that, you'll find that you're on day view, potentially on nutrients, but that's not what we want to look at. So I'm going to say go across to calories, tap where it says day view at the top, change that to week view. Again, on Android, this might look slightly different. And I don't like that. That doesn't tell me what I want to see. I want to know the calories in my day. So I'm going to press net, and instantly it shows me there's a line. It's flipped. There's a line here that gives you what your target is. So my target was 2,300. However, I found I was losing a lot of weight and I was quite hungry, so I've just increased it yesterday. Hence why it's got a little bit of green above the black line. I've increased it because I was losing a lot of weight and I didn't want to lose that much. I almost hit the target I wanted by the end of the 6 weeks, and I thought, that's all right, I'm going to increase it. So that's what we can do, and this is why we reflect on your diary. So what I can see here, if I tap it, I've got Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, or Saturday so far, based on the meal that I've just put in. The frustrating thing is if you look there, you'll see net average 2272. Now that, I'm going to put it bluntly, is a load of crap. I'm going to come off here, and that's because it's taken today as a full day. So if I delete that meal, that average is going to shoot up now. So if I go there, 2,654, my average, based on the fact that I went a little overboard yesterday. But what we can see here is the days that you went under your target and the days that you went over your target. So the red is over, green is under. And you can also see, if you look there, 3,728 net calories under weekly goals. So essentially that's what I've got left. If I want to stay on track, that's what I've got left for today and tomorrow. That's what I've got left for the rest of the week. This is where we get onto your budgeting when we talk about budgeting. So if I swipe to next week, my budget is 18,200 calories. As I add food, that number comes down, 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 down. It tells me what my daily goal is, 2,600, but it also tells me what I have left, and it tells me what my average is. I don't care about the average. If I look to last week, we can see that my average was 2,356. My goal was 2,300. I only went over by 389. That's fine. And what you can see here is there's days where you go up and over, and there's days where you come under. But based on, it's really hard to do this backwards. This, I can see I only went over by 389. Only went over by that. Preferably I'd be under, so if I go to the week before, we can see there I was under by 483 because I had 4 to 5 days under my target and a couple of days ever so slightly over. And this, when we reflect, I could have done yesterday and gone, well, that's it, I've ruined everything. What's the point? However, I went over on Friday, but I know what I've got left for the week. If I want to stay on target, I can either stick to that or I can accept that this week I've gone slightly over because it was the weekend to be a dick. That's fine. By the way, that's what being a lover of pizza does to you. That's a pizza and a half. Just putting it out there. But reflecting on your diary allows you to see what you've got left, how you got on. You can then get on the scales, you can do your measures, you can do all these things that track your progress. You go, right, I've lost a couple of pounds this week and this is what happened. Great, keep going. we go, okay, I didn't lose any weight this week, or my measures haven't gone down, or any of that. Remember, weight isn't everything. Weight shows your body fat, your muscle, your bone, your food, your fluids. There's a lot of things that your weight is comprised of, and that your weight comprises of, I should say. So your body weight isn't always accurately reflecting your losses or your gains or whatever it might be. This is where we got into Happy Scale that we talked about last week. Happy Scale. So if I go into my logbook, I've got a few different points there: 87 kilo, 84, 82.6, 80.2. So this is where I said I dropped a little bit too much. I wasn't happy with it. But your weight will fluctuate. The good thing about Happy Scale is it will show you, if I go down here, it'll show you the trend. It doesn't show you the zigzag lines. So if I put in this morning, and this morning, by the way, this is real proof that eating a lot of food is not good for you on the following day's weigh-in. Because today I was 83.2. So if I do that, we can see it's smoothed it. It's not just gone, it's smoothed it. And I can see there, if I go into this, my loss per week is still 1.5 kilos average. Whereas before I put that in, my loss per week was 1.7. Happy Scale is great because it calms you down, and if you keep on putting in all of your weights, all of your measures, you'll see the reality over time. And this is what I said last week. If I do this, I'm trying to see what you can see. If I do this and show you that spot, I'm like, oh, that spot's really annoying, I don't like that. But then we come back and we go, don't like it. You don't notice it, it's fine. Like, it's a little thing, you focusing on that little thing, when really when we come back and look at it, it looks pretty good. Hopefully that makes sense. So I'm going to put that back in there anyway, because that was true today. That's what eating a lot of pizza does to you. Spend a bit of time on the toilet, soon disappear. You use that, for example, you would select yesterday's breakfast, a great time-saving tool. Good. Connor, let's make that a bit bigger so we can actually read it. Do I have a scale which I use alongside the app? I don't know. I don't know if you mean like a food weighing scale or a body weight scale. No, I don't. I just use scales from Tesco and body weight scales I just get onto. You just write in your own stuff. You can buy fancy scales, but guess what? You're wasting your money. When it comes to food scales and when it comes to body weight scales, you can buy fancy ones, take your body fat and all that. I tell you now, body fat's a load of crap. Body fat measurements on scales are a load of crap. No, I don't. Never put your exercise into MyFitnessPal as well. That's one thing that I need to say. If you put your exercise in, so if I go to yesterday, and let's say, for example, that I add exercise and I did cardio and I did all exercises, I don't know, let's pick something random. Let's say bicycling at 16 to 20 miles per hour. And I did 500 minutes. Let's say I did 2 hours, so 120. Apparently, I burnt 2,122. If I tick that, no, I don't want to automatically sync my workouts. And I then go back to this. Look how nice that looks. It's taken food off. To answer that question, no, I don't have any specific scales. Just get scales. Any scales will work. You thought I'd have picked belly dancing? Nope. Save that from private time. You don't need to know about that. But you can see there, it's taken food, it's taken it off as if I haven't done it. MyFitnessPal's for tracking food. They try to get it as this all-rounder where you put your exercise in, you put your food in, and it balances out. Don't do it. Don't put your food. Don't put your exercise in. Only use it for food. So I'm going to get rid of that. Why do we keep moving? Stay there, camera. Stay there. You very slowly just go this way, and I lose you, or you lose me. So I'm going to get rid of that, because that has a massive impact on my totals. So that's how we can reflect. And what I also want you to do in regards to exercise, typically when you go on it, and you've probably already got this, if I go here, your steps will likely be on like this. So it'll have, I've just disallowed that because I don't want it. It'll typically add your phone as a step counter, or it'll take it from your watch, or it'll take it from something else. Do not let it track your steps for exactly the same reasons. It will start to pull calories down and you won't see the reflection properly. If you found that it's been doing it, it might be at the bottom and it might say you've done X number of steps and burned X number of calories. Swipe right, swipe left, delete it. Swipe right when you like things, don't you? Naughty boy. Some of you might not get that, some of you will get that. Close that, I don't need that. Right, so that is how to reflect on your diary. But what you can also see, so I've looked there, I've just looked at calories, and I've got 3,728 left for the week if I want to stay on target, or I accept that I've gone over this week because I allowed it, I planned for it. Nutrients, I can see what my average protein intake is for the week. I can see what my goal was. My goal was 182 and I've averaged 181. Shoot me. Think that's pretty damn good. Don't ever worry about your carbohydrates, sugar, fat, saturated fat, polysaturated, monounsaturated goals, anything like that. Don't be concerned with that. Remember, as I showed you before, not all the entries are 100% accurate anyway. Connor, yes, happy scale. Now, if you're great with happy scale, you can take your weight every single day. If you're great with accepting what you see on the scales and powering through and just seeing that when we step back and looking at the overall, great. You can do it every single day. You can do it every week. You can do it 2 weeks, you can do it 3 weeks, you can do it 4 weeks. But pick what option works for you. Happy scale. I'll obviously you can search for it and download it now. But what I'm going to do is I will put a link in the group for how to get happy scale, and then you can just tap on that. That'll be the easiest thing, or click on that depending on what you're using. But anyway, the only thing that I'm concerned about in this list is protein. I'm not going to get onto why, I'm not going to get onto any of that. If someone wants me to go over that, I can go over that later or at a later date, that's fine. Protein is important for your health. Doesn't matter how many carbs you have, doesn't matter how many fats you have, make sure you get some of both. But anyway, we can see calories there, we can reflect on it, and we can see your average nutrients there. Last but not least, changing your targets, changing your goals, your calories and your protein and all that. So if you press more again, you go back to this and you go over to goals, I can press calorie, carb, protein, fat goals there. What I can then do is change the amounts. If I do that 2300 and I press the tick next to the, if I press this tick here, that will adjust all the numbers. If I do that, again it'll adjust all the numbers back to what they were. I'm not interested in what this is, I'm not interested in what this is. All I would say, a pretty good target for you on your protein is 1.5 grams per kilogram of body weight. So if you weigh 100 kilos, 150 grams is great. If you weigh 80, 120 is great. Like, that's a pretty good target. A lot of people are a long way away from that. If you're at 60 and your aim is now coming up to doing 110, get to 65, get to 70, get to 75, 80, 85, 90. Build it up. Don't overwhelm yourself. And an easy way to do it is to have high protein things and also to have protein powder. Protein powder is brilliant for boosting things. Charlotte Stableford, this made a massive difference for me. Glad you learned this on the membership group a couple of months ago. I'm glad you took that away, Charlotte. And brilliant. And this is why I do these things. I'm here, this is what I said at the start, I'm here to educate you guys. Teach you how to take control of your own choices rather than be, Dean, how do I do this? Dean, what should I do? Dean, I should do this. Dean, I should do that. I would rather you learn how to do things. I just realised how creasy this top is. Jesus Christ. Oh well. But that's how you change your goals. If you pay for MyFitnessPal, which you don't need to, you can add daily goals and you can change your protein target by gram. You can change it by a percentage if you don't pay for it. Let's say my target on protein was 150. I would just do this. 163. Cool, fine. We'll do 163 because it's the closest thing to it. I'm really not that concerned. One thing that I forgot to say when it comes to adding a saved meal, so if I go to Dean's Chicken Korma, if I do this 0.5 and I press the tick that's at, you know what, I'm just going to do this. Hang on, one sec. This is stressing me out. I can't deal with the backwardsness. It's not even a word, the backwardsness. If I do that, now, if I point, it's pointing the right way. However, if you see any words, if I do that, it's all going to be backwards, but you don't need to see that. It's fine, because you can already see that. But if I do 0.5, and I press the tick at the top, it's still going to put in the full meal, because I haven't pressed the tick in the middle. So if I go back to it, delete, oh, that'd be interesting, chicken korma for breakfast. Chicken korma, I have to do 0.5, and I have to press the tick that's here first. Press that then updates the values, and then I can add it. Do not forget to do that, and if you ever see that something doesn't look right, that's possibly why. Edit all that, delete. Is there anything else I think I need to go through with this? Possibly not. You can add your water if you really want to add water into your days to keep tabs on it. Personally, I think it's just a little thing that takes a bit more time that you don't necessarily need to spend. You can do, by all means, by pressing like I add 3 glasses or I add 2 litres, whatever. You can do that, tick, and then it's there. That just keeps you accountable for it. It doesn't change calories, doesn't change any of that. It just keeps you accountable for how much water you're having. Off there. Notes, you can add notes. Never really seen a reason to do. When I add a meal, do I add just one portion amount? So Charlotte, that's your choice. I would add the total recipe and I would do the fraction just in case you make it again and you make it and it's got a few, like maybe you have a different amount that time. I would put in the whole recipe amount. Like tea you might have one size but lunch you might have half, so is it easier to add a full? Yeah, I would do the full recipe. So let's just say, for example, let's go back onto this. Meals, mum's bolognese, I don't actually know where that's come from, to be honest with you. Let's look for a meal that's actually there. So the banana curry, let's say that's the full recipe, 1,242. Let's say today I have a third of that. And then Rach has another third, for example. And then there's Rach has a sixth. So now we've got half left. If I do this, maybe I've had a half meal this time. So this time I'll go for 0.5. I've had everything that's left tick, so I can add it that way. I would always add the full recipe and add the amount of that recipe that you've had at that time. Hopefully that makes sense, based on the percentage that you have. It doesn't have to be too accurate. This is what I mean. You might have like 0.39 or 0.42 of a meal and you've put in 0.35. Like it might be slightly inaccurate, but don't overdo it. Gonna have to shoot off, got to do your CV and look for jobs. Come back to this later, not a problem. Connor, brilliant info. Will this video be stored? Just because it's a lot to remember, great job. It will be stored. The only thing with Facebook, I might put it onto YouTube as an unlisted video. Because the issue with Facebook is it looks great quality now. It looks good. But give it about a month, maybe 2 months, a month or 2 months, it goes really fuzzy and you won't be able to see anything that I've got going on here. You'll be able to hear me, you'll be able to see a blurry version of me. So I'm probably better off storing it in YouTube, to be honest with you. But brilliant. Yeah, it does. Like, we cook for 3, but you probably have 0.4 as one of us as a child. Exactly. So you've got to bear that in mind. But the sad fact is, men require more, females require less, and then obviously children require less. So we've got to factor all that in. But yeah, I would put in the full recipe and then put in your portion every time you have it. And again, you've got recent things anyway. So if I wanted to, edit. Delete that. If I wanted to put in that meal again, it's already there. It's ready for me to do. So, I don't have to search for it again. It's there. It's ready. It's easy. You can, by the way, when you do this, you can add a photo. But do I really need a photo for my meal? Probably not. Probably not. YouTube will sustain the quality of the video. Does that actually say? By the way, the banana and chicken curry, I'm not a fan of the banana. The meal is brilliant, but the banana, no. So yesterday, tomorrow there, I want to delete that as well. So hopefully, you've taken a lot out of that. I think that's everything that I need to go through. That's everything that I've got written down. Does anyone have any questions on this, or does anyone have any questions on anything, anything else? So maybe you've got a question about, why is my nipple larger than the other? I don't know. You might have any questions. But ask away. Otherwise, we'll shoot off. I'll give you guys another minute. Why I like to make myself look simple is beyond me. Because it's part of my character. This is one thing that I'll say to everyone. People don't like to be seen as weird. People don't like to be seen as being themselves. They try to conform to what they think that other people will like. Don't do it. Don't do it. Be you. Be unapologetically you. Because that's you. Conforming to someone else's, or what you believe someone else is going to like, it expends so much energy. Trying to not be you expends so much energy and it takes so much effort. Don't do it. Just be you. And I am simple. I am weird. I am odd. I don't care. Go out. Be you. That's something that I really have to say. So this week's Dick Meal, I feel like there's going to be more to this. I'm a bit confused. But I would add it just as I have. So if I go to their nutrition, go into calories, Oliver is repeating be you. No, Kathy, you have whatever you want. Hang on. Does this look low calorie to you? Does it look like I didn't consume a lot yesterday? I had nearly 5,000 calories yesterday. You do whatever you want to do. I am going to do my best to stick to my remaining 3,700. But the reason I said don't be a dick, and the reason for it, was to teach you to not require things so often, not need things so often. So like 3 weeks, have something. 3 weeks, have something. Catherine, we had 3 pizzas last night and I had Prosecco. She says that we didn't eat 3 pizzas. We ate 2 between us. But you eat whatever you want. Eat whatever you want. Either factor it in or accept that this week might be a slight gain. It's your choice. But if you... Let's do this actually. If your progress... Let's flip my camera back around as well. Bam. If your progress looks like week 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now if you do this, you're still... Hang on, that was a horrendous example. Let me redraw that. So week 1 we start there and we drop. Week 2 we drop. Hang on. Horrendous at this. Horrendous. Drop, drop, small gain, drop, drop, small gain, and it looks like that, and that continues over time. Look where we end up. Like you started here, and now you finished here. Well, finished at the end of this time scale. If that's your progress, that is progress. Small gains like this are not failing. That's planned. If you plan it in and you accept that that's going to happen, you are making progress. You shouldn't be... No one's fat loss ever looks like this. It just does not happen. It's going to look more like this. You've just got to learn to be patient, accept whatever the scales are saying, and move on. Points like this make you go, oh crap. Points like this, same thing. Points like this, same thing. Maintenance points also make you do it. You've just got to accept it and move on. Because that's a part of it. When you drive down to London and there's a roadblock somewhere, you don't go, sack it, let's go back home. You go, right, let's find another route. But you might have to come back first. So again, driving to London, find a little roadblock, you can't go through there. Okay, we have to come back a little bit and do this. That's cool. That's just like doing this. Same story. You've just found something else. So, hopefully, you've all taken quite a lot away from that. If anyone has any questions, allow it to cool. I'll allow it, fam. I'll allow it. I guess my camera's gone a little bit crazy, so let's do this. Camera's gone off. But anyway, we got through all of that. If anyone has any questions, please ask away. That's the first time that's ever happened, by the way. I've never had it overheat, so I need to possibly need to do something about that. But because I am me, I am going to flip to my phone because I like high quality cameras. So let's do that. Zoom and pan. Ba-da! So if anyone does have any questions, ask away, please. Don't hesitate. The dick meal is not to be low calorie, it's to be whatever you want, but you either factor it in and keep losing weight, or you factor it in and accept that you might gain this week, but then you're going to lose weight again for a couple of weeks. Might have a small gain again, but then you're going to lose weight for a couple of weeks. Hopefully this little guide has really helped you to nail down MyFitnessPal and keep it much simpler. Using servings, like you might even use this, you might use a little bowl. Use something, but be consistent with what you use as your serving measure. If you're using a mug, use the same mug. All mugs are different sizes. Use the same mug and work things out like that. Once you've weighed it once, you don't need to keep weighing it. Keep reflecting on your food, see how it looks. So this is what I was saying to you, Kathy. You need to put it in, because if you look further down the line and go, oh, I gained weight, well, you need to look back and go, actually, well, that's why, that's cool, that's fine, we're going to move forward again. Hopefully that will make sense. If anyone does have any questions, ask away. I've said this about 4 times now, but someone posted last night saying that they hadn't lost any weight, but they hadn't reached out. They hadn't said that, they hadn't explained that, they hadn't told me that they were struggling with something, so I couldn't help. Please, if you are finding something hard or struggling with anything, ask. That's what I'm here for. That's what the group's here for. Everyone else can help you out as well. Anyway, ladies and gents, enjoy the rest of your weekend. Enjoy a little bit of relaxation, and I will see you on Monday. But don't forget to check in tomorrow. Bye-bye.